The oldest unsolved murder case in Los Angeles County is one of the most gruesome mysteries that's still widely discussed almost 80 years later. In 1947, the body of Elizabeth Short was discovered, and the bizarre details surrounding her killing and subsequent investigations afterwards are referred to as the Black Dahlia murder. Elizabeth Short was born in 1924 and moved around with her family until her father, Cleo Short, lost everything in the stock market crash of 1929. Cleo Short's car was abandoned by a bridge, and it was assumed that he'd killed himself. Her mother, Phoebe Sawyer, raised Elizabeth and her 4 sisters until her father sent her a letter in 1942 apologizing about his fake suicide and telling his family to move out to California. Despite not seeing him since she was 6, Elizabeth went to Vallejo to reconnect with him in 1942. Arguments with him caused her to move out a year later, and she moved between San Francisco and Los Angeles, once getting arrested for drinking in a bar while being underage. She'd been dating a man named Robert Red Manley, a 25-year-old married salesman, and just prior to Short's murder, they had been seen together at the Biltmore Hotel when Manley dropped Elizabeth off to meet her sister. The last known sighting of her could have been at a cocktail lounge called the Crown Grill shortly after Manley left her. In the early hours of January 15, 1947, a young mother taking her child for a walk saw what she thought was a discarded mannequin near the then undeveloped region of LA's Lemire Park. The naked body of Elizabeth Short was a few feet away from the sidewalk and had been posed after she had been bisected or cut in half at the waist after her death. There was extensive mutilation to the body and cuts made to the face of the corpse, but there wasn't a drop of blood to be found, indicating she'd been murdered somewhere else and then moved. The autopsy concluded that the cause of death was hemorrhaging and shock from blows to the head. She was identified from her mugshot after her earlier arrest and from the fingerprints she had on file, which the FBI found in under an hour, a major change utilizing new technology at the same time. After she was identified, and in a vicious move, reporters from the Los Angeles Examiner called Short's mother and told her she'd won a beauty contest to get as much personal information as they could before finally telling her that her daughter had in fact been murdered. The name the Black Dahlia was given by the press because of Elizabeth Short's favor of black dresses and the success of The Blue Dahlia, a Hollywood movie starring Veronica Lake about the murder of an unfaithful woman. Reporters smeared her reputation and portrayed Short as nothing more than a party girl who spent time with numerous men and women whose exaggerated sexual appetites were her downfall. Dozens of the headlines were nothing more than fiction and character assassination in order to sell more papers. On January 21, 1947, a person claiming to be Short's killer called the LA Examiner and spoke to reporters, telling them he turned himself in. This didn't happen, but over the next few months, belongings of Elizabeth were mailed to different newspapers, and the supposed killer would reach out to taunt the media. At one point, over 750 investigators were working on this case, but despite the leads and evidence that they had, the case went cold. The police investigators blamed the media for their sensationalizing of the case, and the reporters pointed their fingers at the officers for bungling the evidence. The person claiming to be her killer vanished, and one theory is that this individual killed themselves during or after the investigations went cold. Now that most of the people involved in this case are very likely deceased and the physical evidence has long deteriorated, the odds of solving this act of crime remain a vanishing long shot. There have been several books and movies made about the Black Dahlia since then, which keeps the case in the mind of the public, and to this day, Elizabeth Short's murder remains a mystery.